Today's video is brought to you by AlisaAesthetic.com, where you can get your own personal harmony style analysis. Visit AlisaAesthetic.com for more information and to book a consultation. Hey guys, and welcome back. My name is Alisa, and if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you are new around here, on this channel, I love to talk about different styling techniques using the yin-yang methodology. If you are not familiar with what that is, I will leave some helpful links in the description box down below. But for today, let's get straight into the video. Now, I get asked a lot to elaborate more on essence expression, so I thought I'd get the ball rolling on covering some basics of essence today. Now, the million-dollar question around here seems to be, what is essence? Well, I think it's best to show you guys instead of simply telling you. So I'm going to break down what essence is, how to identify it, how it impacts your wardrobe, and a little look at why it's the cornerstone to curating a custom wardrobe. So let's take a deep dive into the topic of personal essence. So why is essence worth paying attention to? Well, really, the different qualities of your essence molds and has influence over certain aspects of your wardrobe, like your use and preferences pertaining to modesty, color, prints, accessories, and really your overall aesthetic. Now, whenever I'm asked what is essence, I usually respond with it's your inherent non-physical features. But this is only partly true. There is a certain amount of influence our physical features have over our essence. In the most simplest of terms, our essence is the spirit that makes us uniquely us. But to articulate it further, our essence is the inner relation of all our unique physical characteristics along with our intangible traits. Now, I know that was kind of a mouthful, and I will dive deeper into how you can discover your own essence, but I want to go on a little journey in this video and demonstrate exactly what I mean by that statement. And I want to first start off by taking a look at the capture of essence by placing ourselves in the position of observing the essence of others, so we can become more familiar with the concept as a whole, which will make identifying our essence a little more intuitive. Now, I believe that we can capture and observe essence in a few different ways, but in my opinion, the most basic, authentic, and raw approach to capturing essence is a black and white headshot. This is why a good headshot has been coveted in Hollywood for decades. These black and white portraits are meant to capture a certain essence of the individual. It's meant to set the honest expectation of what the casting director can expect. It highlights the individual's unique qualities in the most raw way possible with just a single photo. And the thing about it is that since it's just a photo, the impression of essence is based on the capture of the individual's physical features, particularly in their face. Now, this doesn't negate my original statement that our essence traits are also made up of non-physical characteristics, because the truth is that these photos merely capture a moment in time and don't fully convey certain characteristics we display in live action world. So our non-physical features definitely play a significant role in our natural essence, but this part of the video is meant to demonstrate how our physical features do have an impact on our essence and can tell part of our personal story all on their own. So let's take a look at a few celebrity headshots in grayscale to get a better perspective on capturing and identifying essence exclusively through physical features of just their face. So we have three women here that I feel contrast each other well enough as far as essence: Emma Watson, Amanda Seyfried, and Mila Kunis. So first, let's take a look at this headshot of Emma Watson. So the first thing that grabs my attention in this photo is how it perfectly captures that little wince that's so uniquely her. She has a real academic or collegiate look. It's youthful and inquisitive. She also has a slight perk to her, not necessarily an over-the-top tempo or intense high spirit, just calmly alert, like she has her wits about her, listens closely, and remains observant. Now, the physical features that contribute to this is her somewhat heavy gaze brought in by her heavy brow bone, but the heaviness is counterbalanced by her sharp yet petite nose, mouth, and pointed brows. So that's what I'm picking up just from this headshot. Okay, next is Amanda Seyfried. Now, this headshot really captured her youthful innocence. The gaze of the eyes is soft and her tilted head gives a coy impression, and her soft features hint at a particular sweetness. We can almost expect that she's going to be soft-spoken and slightly mellow. Now, this is concluded by the interrelation of Amanda's large rounded eyes, plump cheeks, rounded nose and lips, and overall youthful, soft facial shape and light contrast. There's a youthful lightness to her. Okay, and last up is Mila Kunis. Now, this headshot really captures her intensity and drama. The gaze of the eyes is slightly sultry, and there's a directness that comes across. She also has this unidentified uniqueness, which makes for a hint of mystery to the viewer. Like, you wouldn't be able to put your finger on her ethnic background if you didn't know who she was. It comes across as exotic. And there's also this feminine dominance about her, as if she would naturally and discreetly fall into an alpha position in groups of people. Now, the drama is brought in by her natural contrast and coloring, prominent cheekbones, hollow cheeks, and dark arched brows. But this is counterbalanced with some femininity brought in by her relatively large rounded eyes and slight pout of the lips. Now, if you pay close attention, what makes these portraits so captivating is that even though they aren't action shots, they still convey a certain movement. None of these women look stiff or like they were posed by an Olin Mills employee. And on the flip side, they're not overly posed like in high fashion editorials. These are fairly stripped down and raw. And I bring this up because, like I said earlier, in my opinion, still photos don't tell the whole story. But with these, we're a little closer to understanding the whole story because of how well the expressiveness of each woman's unique beauty is captured. It's an accurate depiction of their authentic features. It provokes honesty, and ultimately, this is what's interpreted by others as your natural beauty. Now, some really good examples of this outside of Hollywood would be modern portrait photography. As a professional photographer of over 7 years, I've noticed that portrait photography has really taken a new direction in the past decade with the popularization of photo sessions that aim to capture candid and authentic moments. Now, classic portraiture, so the type where everyone is posed and the composition is super refined, will always have a certain appeal because of the neatness of it. But this new style of portraiture has become so popular because the photographer is actually capturing the essence of the individual or family dynamic while they're moving around and interacting with each other. It's a little more organic and honest, which makes for a great approach to telling an authentic story. Okay, now this segues me into addressing movement and intangible traits in essence that might not be able to be captured in a single headshot. Now, when we're stationary, like in a photo, our natural silhouette and base characteristics are of course noticeable. But when we start interacting with the world around us, aspects of our essence like our speech, so our depth of voice, tempo, cadence, the texture, as well as our baseline attitude and demeanor, our natural social interactions, our mannerisms, and how we emote come to life and, in my opinion, end up having an impact on our overall yin-yang balance. Now, it's kind of hard to find good examples of celebrities acting natural because, for one, they're actors, but a lot of the time when they're doing an interview, they tend to act a little more exaggerated, especially on late night talk shows. So I hunted down a few interviews I thought were good examples of our three women acting fairly relaxed and natural so we can observe their fully manifested essence. So let's revisit Emma, Amanda, and Mila and observe them when they're in action. Okay, first up is Emma.
That you wish you'd known back then. Was it the singing? Was that the hardest part to learn?
That it was all going to be okay. Hands down. I think, there were so many new things that I was taking on with the role. So I kind of went into this boot camp for 3 months before we started shooting, which was singing 4 times a week, dancing 5 times a week, riding 3 times a week. Yeah, Bell boot
Do you
camp.
ever combine them? Sing and ride a horse?
All at the same time. Actually, I don't. Thank God. I think my brain...
So what I'm noticing is that Emma does have a natural poise to her. She has a fairly erect natural posture, and the way that she articulates is very crisp. But the tone of her voice still comes across as very young, and we do see some expressiveness with some of her facial movements and mannerisms. But again, it comes off a little more poised than overly animated. Okay, next we have Amanda.
It's true, and sometimes you'll hear crew members whistling a tune.
Yeah.
I remember one day I heard somebody whistling "Do You Believe?" I Believe by Cher, and I'm like, that's not an ABBA song. you better like quiet down. She might hear you. Like he was thinking, they're all thinking of Cher, so they were like, it was just, it's funny because people get more musical when they're working on a musical.
I just love Amanda. She naturally comes across as sweet and has this endearing quality about her. Now, in my opinion, her posture and mannerisms come across as a little more coy. She's not so upfront or direct. Now, I think the standout quality about her is her voice. She's so soft-spoken and airy that sometimes it sounds like she's whispering. All right, and last we have Mila.
So far, you're doing a great job.
Really?
No, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, good. Yeah, I've never done this before, so yeah.
They're just throwing you in the trenches.
In the nicest possible way, did you enjoy being ugly for once? Because generally, like, you know, you're hot. It's
Oh, why thanks.
so it's being a witch, and now it's a little bit different.
Yeah, why not? You know what? It's fun to have a lot of prosthetics on and not necessarily concern yourself with what you look like.
Yeah. Am I doing all right so far?
You're doing fantastic.
Okay.
Okay, Mila. Mila has this depth to her that's really brought in by the tone of her voice and cool demeanor. She comes across as confident and forward, like she's really comfortable with taking the reins. But she doesn't do it in a way that's aggressive or obnoxious. It's more of a fierce, feminine kind of way. She also has these naturally subtle and quick movements that come from her gaze that add a sultry quality when she's engaging with this interviewer. She's very aware of her natural sultriness and can emote it without even thinking about it. Okay, so now that we have a better understanding of Essence, let's talk about how it relates to your wardrobe. Like I said in the beginning, Essence can impact aspects of your wardrobe like modesty, color interactions, prints, accessories, and really your overall personal aesthetic. So without the expression of Essence, there's really no intent to your wardrobe. You'd simply be wearing garments for the utility of it or the fit, which is fine, but if you want to begin curating a wardrobe that is truly authentic to you, Essence is the cornerstone. Even in our most basic head-to-toe looks, as long as we keep our essence in mind, they'll still come off as honest and harmonious. Okay, so let's take a look at the impact of Essence on a wardrobe and how Emma, Amanda, and Mila's Essence interacts with different looks and what I think really highlights their total interrelation and elevates their natural beauty. Okay, so starting with Emma. Now physically, Emma is a gamine type. Her shapes are geometric or sharp, but still very petite. Her facial features are also petite and sharp, and she also has this slight heavy gaze. Now, her essence is crisp and polished, but also youthful and slightly animated, with short articulated movements, which, from my evaluation, makes for a total personal interrelation of classic gamine. Now, to me, this translates to a personal aesthetic that can be described as youthful noble with a dash of artistry. Now, I really think an important aspect of her essence expression is pulling through modesty and a certain level of sophistication. Nothing too serious because she's still very youthful, just more polished. And even though her physical archetype, gamine, can handle contrasting details, she should use it in a dignified way to keep in harmony with her essence. The same goes for color combinations. Even though the typical archetype rules of a gamine says that she can wear highly animated looks and lots of color blocking, doesn't mean that she should take this to an extreme or that it'll be congruent with her essence. This should be translated to interest. She can handle interest. So let's take a look at some comparisons and exactly what I mean by this. So the first example, the look on the far left, is very harsh and it really looks like Emma is trying to pump up the sex appeal, and what it actually ends up doing is putting a damper on her natural class and sophistication. Now the middle dress is still in this leather material, which still looks a little too harsh on her, and it takes a little bit more of a youthful approach, but a little too youthful in my opinion. She's following the rules of gamine, but her natural beauty is really lost in translation. Now, cruising right down to the look on the right, she looks way more fierce, or her version of femme fatale in that jumpsuit, than the leather dress in my opinion. All I'm saying is that if I had the same balance as Emma, I'd be wearing that jumpsuit all the time. I wouldn't even care. So the jumpsuit offers a level of class with the streamlined silhouette, but the deep V and extremely sharp neckline just really highlights her petite angles. And the detail at the waistline, it helps break up the line and adds some interest to the monochromatic look. This is how Emma pulls off a sexy, bold, young look. This is honestly just the epitome of simplistic and stunning on her. Okay, moving along to the second example. The look on the left is just way too loud and really really dampens her natural sophistication. Now, of course, she looks a lot better than most would in this extreme color blocking, but it doesn't mean that it's an authentic expression of her essence. Now, moving over to the middle look, this is definitely an improvement. There's an appropriate use of lines and details, but it's still slightly immature and doesn't quite highlight how naturally classy she really is. Now, moving down to the look on the right, this just has it all. So this beautiful tweed dress has this really cool mesh cutout and medium to low contrast color blocking, which adds interest, but the construction and hemline really keep the look congruent with her essence qualities. And man, the small geometric shapes highlight her natural petite sharpness beautifully. So harmonious in my opinion. Now for example 3, we have 2 airport looks. Now the one on the left is again too harsh and just comes off as sloppy, but cruising over to the look on the right, we see that she's made good use of color blocking with the neutrals and she's still casual. It's this whole idea of casual yet refined. So she doesn't have to sacrifice comfort to look her best. Okay, so the takeaway is that the looks on the right actually end up appearing much more effortless, even though aesthetically they're more polished and refined. I personally don't think that she looks boring in any of these, and her natural beauty is really being brought forward. Okay, next we have Amanda. Physically, Amanda is very yin. She has a lot of small repeating circular shapes and appears quite delicate. And she does have elongation and a longer vertical line, which really allows her to wear longer lines without appearing like she's trying to look more mature. I would actually recommend her in longer lines than mini or micro hemlines. Now, her facial features continue the pattern with a tight circular facial structure, large rounded eyes, and soft plush facial flesh. And her essence traits are very lofty as well. She has this enchanting quality and comes across as very sweet and innocent. This makes her total inner relation an ethereal ingenue. Now, I think an important part of her essence expression is pulling through an ethereal quality and keeping things weightless, delicate, and feminine. So overall weight of material and color palette are going to be key to curating a fully harmonious wardrobe for her. Now, her details should be delicate, and she's best suited in colors that offer a bit more loft and are very soft in tone. Her yin essence expression is really elevated with plush elements or soft movement and fluid lines, as well as low contrast, soft color interactions. So I would say that her personal aesthetic is weightless, enchanted elegance with a hint of youth. Okay, so let's take a look at a few comparisons for Amanda. First, we have example 1, look on the left. Now, this is way too severe on her. The contrast is way too high and the color palette is way too deep. She really comes across as harsh rather than radiant. Now, moving down to the look on the right, we see that we have a similar silhouette to the look on the left, but the soft color tone is much more congruent with her natural coloring, and we have a little bit of soft detail brought in with the softly ruffled hemline. Amanda's natural, delicate, and weightlessness beauty is really showcased here. Okay, moving on to example 2, we have 3 looks. Now, the look on the far left is again way too harsh. The tight silhouette comes across as very restricting, especially with this color palette, and the overall interaction kind of makes her appear ill. Now, moving down to the middle look, this is definitely an improvement. We have some yin relief with the lace material and mermaid silhouette, but again, overall, this is just way too deep for her natural weightlessness. Okay, now the look on the far right is, in my opinion, her version of deep and bold. So we have a little more color saturation and depth brought in by the black print, but the silhouette and construction really lends itself to round out the look with just the right amount of yin lift. Okay, now cruising over to example 3, look on the left. This just isn't even close to Amanda's best. This simple white button-up and trousers just comes across as stiff and too mature on her. She really loses her alluring essence and delicacy. Now on the right, we see Amanda in a casual airport look. Now, is this hands down Amanda's absolute best look of all time? No, but this is her version of casual. The silhouette offers softened edges, and the plush sweater complements her delicate and soft facial features. The subtleties of this look is what make it appear much more harmonious on her than the look on the left. Alright, and last up here we have Mila. Now, Mila is such an interesting study. She really has a very unique and, in my opinion, transformative balance. Now, objectively looking at her body lines and shapes, she's definitely characteristic of extreme yin. She has a delicate bone structure and smaller circular shapes. Now, her facial features bring in a little more drama. She has a delicately sharpened bone structure and this dramatic intensity in her gaze, yet her eyes are still relatively large and rounded, and she has some softness in her flesh, like the pout of her lips. But she also has this transformative quality of appearing quite youthful. Now, her essence does have a lot of depth with her natural sultriness and feminine assertiveness, but she still has youthfulness. Now, my evaluation of her lands me on a sultry romantic with an undercurrent of ingenue, but I also think that she can easily hold the title of dramatic ingenue in her own unique way. Now, either way, to me, this translates to a personal aesthetic that can be described as deep feminine richness with hints of youthfulness. Now, I know that Mila has been typed by others before, but from my point of view, she has some undeniable ingenue characteristics. But there's a certain depth that needs to be accommodated in order to maintain a desired level of harmony. And really, in my opinion, that should be brought in by the use of a deeper or more rich color palette and luxury materials. She can also play to her more ingenue characteristics with hemlines. Mini and micro hemlines will bring forward her more youthful traits, as well as tight gathers and upward moving rounded shapes like the photo in the middle here. Okay, so let's take a look at some of Mila's examples. Now, I'm doing a little something different here because her balance is, like I said, a little transformative. I'm not really going to show you guys good versus bad looks. I more want to show you the transformative quality of Mila and highlight her uniqueness. Okay, so starting with example 1, the look on the left is a little more ingenue in nature with the softer color palette and overall composition. Now, I would say that this look slightly highlights her youthfulness, but we really lose her interest because her depth is washed out. Now, the look on the right does a good job of highlighting her youthfulness through the use of a more ingenue silhouette and composition, but also complements her depth with a richer color palette. However, to me, this still isn't the height of complementary for her. The way that youthfulness is used in this look still doesn't push her to her fully elevated beauty. Okay, moving over to example 2, the look on the left. Now, this look is, of course, one of her most stunning looks to date. It really enhances her drama, depth, and femininity. The rich red color and delicate luxury material really complements her intensity as well as her delicate features. This look is definitely pushing her dramatic and delicate yin features forward in a way that makes for a stunning impression. Okay, now moving down to the look on the right, this look is doing a okay job at highlighting her youthfulness with the silhouette and material. But again, we lose her depth and the look ends up falling short of enhancing her natural beauty. Okay, and last up here we have example 3, the look on the left. Now to me, this look hits the nail on the head of leaning a little more youthful and highlighting her ingenue characteristics while also maintaining a complementary level of depth. To me, this is a very well-rounded look for her, and she appears to be in perfect harmony. Now moving down to the look on the right, now this look really lends itself to highlighting her drama with the rich color palette and materials. It does look very complementary, but also slightly stiff. To me, she calls for a relief of yin somewhere in deeper looks like this. Okay, so the takeaway is that Mila can incorporate hints of ingenue elements to highlight her appearance of youthfulness and delicate characteristics, but to be fully harmonious, she should place depth at the cornerstone to accommodate her natural, dramatic traits. Okay, so I hope this review of Emma, Amanda, and Mila helped to give you more insight into manifesting essence expression in a wardrobe. Okay, so let's talk about the issue of inauthentic or manufactured essence. This is where we try to present ourselves in a way that goes against who we are naturally. You can liken it to wearing a mask. And in my opinion, the entertainment industry, and one could even argue now the social media industry, is a good example of this and tends to take this to an unhealthy, dishonest, and deceitful place. This is where we see celebrities going through permanent image transformations via extreme plastic surgery, or just using modern technical advances like Facetune to present themselves in a certain way. Now, I'm not against plastic surgery because I think everyone should be able to do whatever they see fit for themselves. But I just want to say there's a certain degree of authenticity that is completely lost with these extreme practices. The same can be said for influencers who present themselves in a way that's much more marketable. And regardless of our motives behind it, in my opinion, it's dishonest and dampens our natural beauty. I think someone who's a really good example of this recently is Paris Hilton in her new documentary. Now, I watched this documentary and I actually really like how honest she got and the awareness she was willing to bring to the traumatic experience her and other adolescents' children had. But in that documentary, she admitted that she deliberately changed who she was to portray herself in a certain way. She spoke in a completely different voice and diluted her intelligence. And of course, her wardrobe followed suit. Now, for whatever psychological or marketing reasons she did this, I feel like this whole time we all kind of knew there was something completely inauthentic about her. She appeared manufactured, and a lot of those close to her still don't understand the glitz and glam side of Paris. They all said that she's much more chilled out than that. So I put together a few examples here so you can see the major contrast. Her natural beauty is really diluted and overtaken by these loud, overly sexy looks. Now, another aspect of inauthentic essence expression, and something that's really worth asking ourselves, is do we like certain aesthetics or looks because we're obsessed with them visually and are trying to desperately superimpose them onto ourselves? Or are we appreciating the beauty of certain aesthetics and taking the time to explore if that aesthetic complements and enhances our natural beauty, and how we can draw inspiration and find areas within the aesthetic that would harmonize well with us? I personally feel that this is really important to ask ourselves and answer honestly if we want to truly achieve an authentic and complementary wardrobe. Because the fact of the matter is that if you love a particular aesthetic and force the look simply because it's trending or looks extremely visually appealing on others, you're sacrificing a part of yourself just to fit in with the material world. For instance, there was a point in time, and I really can't believe that I'm going to admit this to you guys, but there was a point in time where I was obsessed with this show called Nashville. Maybe you guys remember it. And I just love this show. There was a character in this show, though. Her name is Scarlett, and I loved her style and aesthetic of that character. And you better believe I tried my hardest to implement it on me. Now, her look was this very natural, ethereal, boho, dusty vibe, and that just does not jive with me, at least not the way that I was trying to do it. So not only did I look off, but I really didn't feel much like myself. I mean, at the time I was like practicing the banjo and the mandolin, but other than that, I had nothing in common physically or essentially with this character. So superimposing her aesthetic on me was not effective at all. Okay, so how do we go about identifying our own essence? Well, first, I believe that we need to become willing to see things from an entirely new perspective. There might be aspects of your essence that you've been unaware of this whole time. Now, undoubtedly, a big part of essence is how we're perceived. I personally feel that it takes a great deal of self-awareness and willingness to be honest with yourself to accurately evaluate your own essence. And this can be a little difficult for us on a couple of different fronts. So first, we run into the issue of being unsure of how we're actually perceived. It can really conflict with our first-person experience in the world and how we think our essence naturally comes across. Not to mention, in regards to our more intangible qualities, we all can act a little different depending on the setting, mood, who we're around, and what kind of activities we're participating in. So I've had some of you contact me and say something like, well, I'm kind of serious at work, but when I'm out with friends, I can become bubbly, but I'm kind of shy around new people, so I guess I don't know what my essence is. Now, I'm sure all these statements are true, and we all act a little different depending on the circumstances, but we all have what I call a baseline, and I think this is best demonstrated or observed when we're casually interacting with someone in a comfortable environment. We're more likely to demonstrate our honest baseline essence qualities with an old friend on a coffee date as opposed to a high-pressure situation like a job interview or first date. Of course, our essence traits will still come through in high-pressure situations because our essence is always with us, but all that I'm saying is that we might just be over or undercompensating in some way because of the circumstances. Now, the second challenge we might have that hinders us from objectively evaluating and honestly expressing our essence is our insecurities. Subconsciously, we can make purchases to try to put together looks that compensate for something that we're actually very insecure about. And I think we saw this brought up by Paris in her documentary. She started to overcompensate and really lost her way. And this was definitely reflected in her wardrobe. So to begin our journey of objectively evaluating our essence traits, I would first recommend taking a look at your facial characteristics in candid photos. These can tell quite the story if you're willing to pay attention. Look at various photos of you from childhood and all the way up through today. Observe how your facial characteristics interact with each other and the story they tell. Pay attention to things like your natural gaze. Is it sultry? Is it inquisitive? Is it soft and shy? Is it warm and inviting? Is it filled with excitement? Write whatever you see down, and don't be afraid to ask others what their impression is of you. Now, I would suggest asking someone who's willing to be objective, and if you don't know anyone personally, there's plenty of online forums or paid professionals you can reach out to for an evaluation. Take note of some of the repeating adjectives and think in terms of total interrelation. How do all of your unique qualities blend together, and what is the end result? Does your total interrelation come across as soft and inviting? Maybe you're more bold and assertive, or perhaps you come across as perky and alert. At any rate, I think the best way to discover and express your essence is to just be honest with yourself. Because once we try to become something we're not, we lose a little part of ourselves. Okay, so I think that is a good note to end this Essence video on today. I look forward to making more Essence videos for you guys in the future, but I hope you guys found this video helpful. And as always, if you like this video, if you like content like this, I warmly welcome you to like, subscribe, and share this video. I'm also curious what you come up with for your Essence descriptions. Leave them in the comments down below. I'm always so curious what you guys are experiencing in your own style journeys. But that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you at the next video. Bye.